The red light is flashing.
The red light is flashing? All right. Was that yours or mine?
That was mine.
Okay. I'm feisty today.
Feeling feisty.
I'm just going to start rambling. Just hit record.
So,
hit the record.
Let's jump out ahead of this at the very beginning, because by the time our listeners,
if you did my joke,
no,
like I started it and then you, like, we birthed this joke together.
there's a lot of jokes that
I know that's true.
we co-parent.
We co-parent. Oh my god, that's the greatest co-parenting joke. And the fact that I know where you're going already.
I don't know that you do. So this podcast will come out on July the 8th.
Oh, see, now I know what you're doing. I thought you were doing the other thing.
No,
that's how much.
See, I was just trying to encourage our listeners to wish Mr. Tucker a happy belated 40th birthday.
Wow,
we are getting old.
I know. I'm like,
you are getting older than me.
I know. So I was like, I'm too
good
old.
with it.
You know, too old to be doing this, hanging out in the basement doing podcast stuff. No,
hey, we're not in the basement anymore.
I know.
We moved on up.
Not in my backyard anymore.
No, not. They're not jackhammering our way across the street.
As of right now, if it starts happening mid record,
then it is what it is.
But yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that.
So yeah,
it's as of right now, I haven't.
It's as of the time of recording. I'm
not there.
You are currently in the last moments of your 30s.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I've already had some people be like, "Is he doing okay?"
Is he doing?
I'm fine.
That's good.
But I think you know me well enough that I'm.
Well,
not
you always look
be...
like you're tired.
Thank you. I do. I do. I get that a lot. No, but I think we had one of our friends who's the absolute worst be like,
yes,
we should go skydiving. No.
Nah.
Listen,
actually, I would. I would go skydiving.
I might. I'm not opposed to it. It scares the bejesus out of me, but yeah.
Sure. But you should do things that scare you every now and again, right?
Yeah. But then I was like, I'm not going Tom Cruise like solo.
Well,
it would have to be.
You can't.
Don't tell me what I can't do.
Well, I mean, legally speaking.
All right. See, that's the...
like, there's regulations in place that require you to jump tandem a few times before you're allowed to jump solo.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right. But it was one of those things of like,
now, granted, you could just be like, surprise, and jump out of a plane.
Right.
But, you know.
Be like DB Cooper.
Exactly.
No one's going to know what happened to me.
Okay. So, DB Cooper.
Yes.
Reminds me about an episode of a television show that I recently watched.
Okay.
Called Unsolved Mysteries.
I haven't watched it yet because
which is coming back. It's back.
It is back.
Yeah.
But that show terrified me as a kid. Why I was allowed to.
Well, we didn't even know it was coming back. Right. And we just happened to see some old, some original episodes on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
So we were watching it, and the DB Cooper episode
did they
was
do
on.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that show is back.
I'm a huge history buff, so I've always, like, on the History Channel and stuff, they're like DB Cooper. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
But then I was watching it recently, and I had to
fascinating.
I had to kind of laugh because he really didn't, like, in today's standards, he didn't get away with that much money.
No.
Like, it was like $200,000.
Yeah, but in today's money.
Okay.
Like, adjust for inflation, blah, blah, blah.
Right, I'm just saying if you were to walk up and find it.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
it wouldn't be as impressive. Like, listen, if somebody wants to leave a briefcase full of $200,000
I'm not going to...
at the door to our office, the address is...
I'm not going to be... Yeah, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm just saying, like, it's not $2 million.
No.
When it's like that he got away with... that. But, like, I was watching, I'm like...
Even $2 million, like...
in today's standards.
Doesn't seem... Listen, again, lots of money. You want to leave some, the address is in the description.
Right.
But But it's not as much as it seems like it used to be.
Listen, when
I was a kid, $1 million was like the pinnacle of...
Right.
million.
Listen, I'm about to open a jar.
Okay.
A Toretto jar.
Okay.
Right? I watched a movie last night. Got into Wilma watched we watched Fast and Furious the other day. It was on TV.
Okay.
I think that was 2 days ago. And so last night we're like, okay, we want to watch the next Fast 5 because Fast 5's awesome.
Okay.
Like that's one of my favorite one out of the
compendium of the saga. Yeah.
The Toretto saga. And so we're sitting there watching it, and there's the big Rio drug lord is collecting all of his money together, so they're gonna split. It's gonna be $100 million,
right?
But then it was like split both ways, and they're like, "You're getting $10 million." I'm like, "Listen, there's at a certain point where the stuff they did
wasn't worth $10 million.
Wasn't like, $10 million. Like I was really thinking about it. I'm like, $10 million. Like if you were to be like $100 million, we want you to like, and I was one of those characters. Done.
Right.
Done. Let's,
well,
I get $100 million, but I'm like, okay. Again, if someone wants to leave $10 million, I'm not going to complain, but I'm like, listen, at a certain point,
diminishing returns.
And then last minute, even after that, they're inviting the one guy back.
Didn't they have a tank in that movie?
The Rock did.
Okay. So here's where my stupid brain goes in situations like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting $10 million. But
Right.
in order to get my share of $10 million, I need a tank.
Right. And to buy a safe. They had to buy an extra safe, right? They spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
And yes, they kept on getting extra cars because they, I guess, kept going to the racetrack and driving for pinks.
For pinks.
But then the one guy from the first movie shows back up and he's like, hey, if you need anybody else. And Dom's like, hey, there's always room for family. Right? So now you're taking part of my cut, part of my $10 million.
Right.
So now I got 9.
I'm trying to find out how much a tank costs so I can...
Well, that was the Rock's tank.
Regardless.
So they didn't buy the tank. He was just like, hey, I'm in.
He had to have the tank from somewhere. Somebody paid money for this tank. Tanks don't just appear.
Right. And he did more work than the rest of the crew did.
That's a tenth. A common battle tank, a T-54/55, considered more of a medium tank, costs about $1.06 million per unit.
Right.
So you before you even get to
love this right now, just by the way. Like,
before you even get to play this game.
Right.
And you know me. I'll go
and I'm there too.
Down to the mats with math.
But I was like,
we've had this conversation.
Yeah. Listen, someday
you know where I can go with the math.
Someday we're gonna have like a Black Edition podcast. I'm thinking like Metallica, like just let us go off on some of the math that we've done on some of the conversations that we've had. But no, like it was bugging me watching that movie last night because I was like, all right, 10 million. But that's to become, now you're on the government.
Yeah.
Like you can't
spend that money, really.
Right. You can't go home again.
No, never.
Which they do. That's beside the point.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, $10 million to be on the run for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're now on the government. You have the government chasing you. These are all the things that you got to do. All right, 10 million. Now they bring somebody else in. So you have to take $1 million from everybody. So now you're getting 9.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a peer pressure situation where they have a street race in the cop cars in the middle of Rio that no one's out. They just went in and stole. Anyways, so then they go, hey, you know what's a good idea? Because we're getting, let's bet $1 million on this street race, right? But then you're going up against, the two. So that's just a losing. All right, so now you're down to 8.
Yeah, one of these people lives their lives 1/4 mile at a time. Okay?
Right, like literally says that. and says, hey, we need 2 precision drivers that we got that.
We got it.
All right. So now you're down to $8 million.
For almost everybody. But one of these people gets $15 million. Because I'm guessing they're betting $1 million a piece, right?
Right.
So the buy-in's $1 million, which means the winner takes home $6 million.
Right.
So that turns their $9 million into $15 million.
Into 15
for one person, but everyone else,
which is Paul Walker,
only gets 8
because Dom let him win.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then it's like, whatever. All right. So other than Paul Walker, like everybody's walking away with
$8 million.
$8 million.
Which again, break it down. You can live most places in the world very comfortably on $50,000 a year.
100%.
Right? So it takes 20 years to spend $1 million, 50,000 at a time.
Okay.
So, I mean, you're still talking hundreds of years that you could live.
If you were not
if you don't get caught.
Right.
Yeah, like if you just said, all right, I'm gonna live a simple life.
Right.
Somewhere off the radar.
Right.
That $8 million lasts you 1,000 years.
Right. Theoretically, if you don't go...
Not 1,000 years. I did the math way wrong on that. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, 1,000 years on that? Dang. But it was just one of those things that bugged me. That it's like, at what point are you like, you know what? Becoming on like most wanted list.
Yeah.
And...
Now, you also have to keep in mind, too, that because you're on that most wanted list, you're going to have to burn money a little bit faster.
Right.
Or you're going to have to launder money.
Right.
Now, laundering...
It's a whole...
Now we're talking about
right.
You only have 50% of what you had because...
You're having to...
The last time I watched a TV show involving details on money laundering, the give's about 50%.
Right.
So...
Yeah, so now you're just... But now we're getting into the nitty-gritty things of what's wrong with this story when there's... I mean, it's a Fast and Furious story.
They jump out of planes with cars. So
listen, in the new one, they're doing Tarzan with a car. So, whatever. But it was just one of those things that bugged me that I'm like, God, at a certain point, like, listen, I'm happy to hang, but as soon as, like, my 10 millions become... And that's just estimated. That was just, like...
We think that's how much money's chilling out.
Right. It could be, like, $1 million.
It's true.
Like, he could be like, you know what?
And that goes back to, like, I remember when $1 million used to seem like an insurmountable, nearly infinite amount of money.
Right.
Right. And then, you watch a game show where the prize is $1 million, and then my stupid adult brain kicks in and goes, well, 45 to 50% of that goes away in taxes. So you got $500,000. And you know what? I know what a $500,000 house where we live looks like.
I'd be done by the end of the day.
Yeah. I can get rid of $1 million now.
Yeah. If somebody was like...
And it wouldn't be that crazy of a house. Now, I look at our podcast statistics, so I know where, listen, we're kind of big in Nebraska.
What's
in a way?
Nebraska?
Like, I mean, like an uncanny amount of our downloads come from the state of Nebraska.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but...
What's up, you corn huskers?
Sorry, that just reminds me of a different conversation that I was having the other day. But, so I don't know what 500,000 looks like in Nebraska real estate.
Right.
But I also know I have family in Idaho Falls, and I know what my aunt and uncle bought their house for.
Right.
And I can tell you that what they bought their house for, I think it was in the low threes,
would be
$1 million plus here.
Yeah.
I mean, gorgeous 100%. Home in a really nice community, huge, just like 3,500 square foot.
Right.
I think it's got 5 bedrooms plus a finished basement. I mean, it's a really nice house.
Right. It's $1 million house here.
Here, it's $1 million home.
Yeah, there it's 300,000.
Yeah,
which is just insane. Because it's like, hey, pick that up and move it here.
Exactly.
Yeah. You'd make your...
Which, and then the thought, my wife and I have this conversation. We're like, man, if we can get that for $350, maybe $400 there.
Right.
Man, it'd be nice to move there. And then I go, you know how many of those I have to sell though to make the same amount?
Right.
And that's the nice house.
Right.
Right. I mean, not to overstate things, but my uncle's a nuclear physicist.
Right.
So, that's the nice end of real estate in Idaho Falls.
Right. So more commonly, it's going to be
much lower than that.
Much lower.
So then I just start doing the math and I go, I have to sell so many more houses to make the same that I make here.
So it doesn't,
and it all breaks down to proportionately, and we don't get 20 feet of snow. So sorry, Sherry.
But it was
and
just
Doug.
it was just one of those things like watching it that I'm like, you know what? I've never like thought about it from that angle where I was like, you know what? It would have just, from a writing standpoint, just changed the 100 million.
Well, it's like Dr.
Because then
Evil,
at the end they were going,
$1 million.
Change the 100 million to a lot more money.
Let's go $1 billion.
To make this seem, because at the end they're like, I bought this car. It's the only one, there's only 4 made. Oh yeah, I'm sure that's a good $1 million car.
Also, again, just to bring some reality into it,
because we're talking Fast and Furious.
If you're on the run, the last thing you want is a car that there's only 4 of,
right?
Because that makes you real easy to find.
They're the worst criminals I've ever seen. Because
that's why they're always getting into such crazy hijinks.
Make it sound like a Scooby-Doo. Like, I need a Fast and Furious Scooby-Doo. They just feel like the real criminal is.
Instead of a Toyota Supra and a Dodge Charger, it's just a APC. Instead of the Mystery Machine, it's an armored personnel carrier with 10,000 horsepower under the hood that can somehow do 0 to 60.
Ludicrous.
It always from the moment that he stepped into the movie franchise, it made me sad that never once before, at the beginning of one of his scenes, you're just like, Luda!
Well, it's just...
I think they just missed an opportunity.
Oh my God, that would just be...
I don't even think they use the word.
Like, I'm just mad because
it's not just a name, obviously. It's a real word, meaning something...
Or at some point just
incredibly crazy.
You want us to do that? That's just ludicrous. And then just everybody look at the camera.
Yeah, just a little fourth wall. Like, if Ryan Reynolds wrote the movie, it would be in there one time.
Right. Just be like, this is just ludicrous. Well played. So I enjoy the movies. It was just one of those things that I noticed. I'm like, oh my gosh, because the next one is where, they jump the shark.
And by jump the shark, you mean jump in between 2 buildings in Saudi Arabia
That's
in a
not
car?
The next one. The next one in 6.
Or was that 7? That was 7 when they jumped the cars between.
Was Letty comes back and
that's right.
All of a sudden they're good guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, when they became good guys, it just lost some.
It lost a little bit of.
But I think in the next one, if I remember correctly, one of them's hanging out in a private jet. And I'm like,
$8 million doesn't even buy you a private jet.
I'm just like,
not a nice one.
I just feel like I ran into this loophole of Fast and Furious that I'm like, this is a bunch of nonsense. Maybe he only chartered it for the afternoon. It had his, if I remember correctly, it has his name on the.
You're probably not wrong. But hey,
when Ludacris one of your is off buying his own shop, so people don't get.
Well, where else are people going to get their Honda Civics with spoon engines?
Hey, not
T6 turbos.
It's the police.
And NOS.
Hey, you're at your. Well played, but it was just one of those things where I'm like, this doesn't.
I just assume that Harry's went out of business.
I'm sure Harry. I mean, if is it Tej? Tej. If he's like, hey, I'm gonna start a thing where they don't get ripped off. Well, that was a little dig to Harry that he was just ripping everybody off.
Right.
So I'm sure it put him out of business. Probably. But evidently it's doing well enough that he can leave the shop during
normal business hours
and go travel the world and become wanted again.
Yeah. You can gallivant about the globe.
I'm guessing the shop's doing okay.
Or maybe it's just a front for laundering all that money so he didn't have to pay the 50% give.
He's smart. See, he's smarter than he's letting on. I feel like there's a whole backstory there. He's just like, listen.
I'm a launder money through my own shop. I can get parts at cost. See, it's a money laundering scheme. He's the only one who actually got to keep all of his money.
The other two guys just went to Monaco at the end. Didn't even make it.
Probably pissed it all away on 2 hands of roulette.
They didn't even make it to the next movie. They're just like, hey, there you go. Whatever.
Did that thing where they bet it all on black the first hand and they go, crap.
Well, I guess we better find another bathroom to blow up.
Yeah, it's time to go.
And that was a joke.
Criminal
within a joke.
Yes, it was. So in reverse,
yes,
the movies that I watched this weekend, to completely counterbalance
I watched another one. We're gonna have some. We're gonna have some words.
To counterbalance you watching Fast and the Furious movies, I watched 2 movies based upon and largely faithful to real life.
Or was it just fantasy?
It was not.
So it was not fantasy. It was not Bohemian Rhapsody.
No.
Continue.
No. We watched both Midway,
nice,
and Harriet over the weekend because what 2 films that are currently out best encapsulate the 4th of July than people fighting for our freedom and then fighting for their own.
Yeah.
And both were absolutely just tremendous powerhouses of a movie.
Fantastic. I'll have to check them out. I've been wanting to actually watch both of those. But I was like, Independence Day. And I'm like, you know what? Movie doesn't age the best. And then I saw something the other day, and I can't remember because it's like nothing says 4th of July like Will Smith proposing to a hooker.
Yep. Stripper.
And, it was like, oh, that's true. Like, and saving the world. And I don't know. It's a good movie. I still haven't seen all of the second one.
You know how much of the second one I've seen? 0 minutes and 0 seconds.
I saw about 10 seconds because I was flipping through something and it came on.
Oh.
So past and essentially it's what was in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I just don't have the energy to even pretend that that's a thing.
No. But Midway, amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely just knock your socks off amazing.
Francis is in that one, huh? From Deadpool? He's the main guy, Francis?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So I was like...
I know. Because every time I see him, I'm all, Francis.
Okay.
Every time I've seen him in multiple things, and I'm like, hey, is that Francis? And that's what I was like, I don't know if I could ever be an actor just for the fact of, like, you're known, like, you have that role.
Yeah.
And that is
who you are.
And that's the only person I can think of who I'm a fan of, is Sean Astin. Because some people will be like, Lord of the Rings. I'm like,
no,
that's Mikey. See? Just did it. You're like, that's Rudy. That's Mikey. That's Dave from Encino Man.
He's so many things. Just
he's Bob from Stranger Things. He's
whoever wherever you're at, like he's.
I saw a thing. It's like generationally.
Yeah.
Like where you are if you know him
from.
Because somebody's like, "Hey, that's Bob from Stranger Things," and somebody's like, "No, that's Rudy."
Yeah.
It's like no, that's Mikey. I'll have to find that. We'll post it on our page or something. But I'm a big Sean Astin fan. But it's one of those things I would love. Listen, when we get this going and we're late night show hosts,
sure,
or something, I would be that annoying thing that I would talk to them about their most obscure role.
You're like, all right, so in '89 when you did this movie,
Sean Astin shows up. I would talk to him about nothing other than Encino Man. Because everybody talks to him about Lord of the Rings and talks to him about Goonies.
Sure.
And talks to him about Stranger Things. No. I'd go the side direction. I'd be like, listen, what was it like working with Pauly Shore? Like, was there multiple takes because he just couldn't not be Pauly Shore? Yeah, like I want.
Well, that's the amazing thing about Pauly Shore, though.
You know how I feel about Pauly Shore.
Always Pauly Shore.
Right.
He's never not
right.
Pauly Shore. So, like, the person that you saw,
him as an
the
actor,
Weasel,
yeah,
he's the Weasel.
Right. He was never a great actor for the fact that he was always playing himself in every single movie that he did. I'm not saying he was a bad actor. I'm just saying, like, he wasn't off being Benjamin Button anytime soon.
No.
I guess in the acting, thing. But he was always, son-in-law. He was Pauly Shore. In the Army now.
Yeah.
He was Pauly Shore. Encino Man. He was Pauly Shore.
Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
Who was always just kind of Damon Wayans.
Right. G.I. Joe. He was Damon Wayans.
Yeah. Like, hey, Sean, let's talk about Whitewater Summer from 1987.
Wow, you went deep.
Thanks, IMDb.
No, but I was like, I would love to.
Oh, he was also on his breakout role, 1981's TV movie. Please Don't Hit Me, Mom. A babysitter realizes that one of the children she looks after is being physically abused by his mother.
Oh my god, you should have just left it because I created a whole other, like, oh my god. I don't even know how to come back from that one. But no, a movie I watched, which I was saying we're going to have some words.
Okay.
Because you didn't like it so much. But I didn't mind it. I actually sat down and watched Eurovision.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I didn't love it.
Right, like,
it wasn't Will Ferrell at his Will Ferrell-ist.
Yes.
It was good. It just wasn't.
I'm not mad at it.
No, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
we laughed our butts off multiple times in that movie. I enjoyed it.
Listen,
it just wasn't Talladega Nights.
From the get-go, I was like, so this is how it's going to end.
Yeah.
That guy's really not all about her.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Anyways. And I was like, and you know how that guy's going to die? With a dagger to the back. I laughed hysterically at that. No, it was a good little flick, but I was like, okay. Didn't.
It wasn't bad at all. No, it was just not. Like I said, it wasn't my favorite Will Ferrell movie.
Right.
It just.
And listen, Rachel McAdams pulled it off again. You could literally put her in a romantic movie against a dumpster, and I'm gonna buy it. Like, I'm gonna be like, yep. She, from all the movies that she's done where she's playing the romantic interest of people,
right? And
I've bought it every single time. I'm like, okay. Even like Jason Bateman in Game Night, who's probably old enough to be your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in all honesty. And it's like, okay, cool. Maybe not that old, but I mean, he's quite a bit older than her.
Sure.
As is Will Ferrell.
Yes.
But then you go, Ryan Gosling getting some Notebook. It wasn't over for him.
No.
Still isn't over.
Still isn't over. She still doesn't know what she wants.
You're welcome.
But yeah,
I
so...
wrote you every day for a year. You want me to keep going?
Nope.
All right.
So yeah,
this is my one man performance of The Notebook. And scene.
And until next time. Oh goodness.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Now it's off to work, man.
Yeah, I've gotta go do the things that pay for all of this.
I know. Well, partially.
Well, that's what I mean.
Listen, Mr. Moneybags is no.
What I'm saying is
here.
This.
No, I know.
All costs money,
Yes,
and
it
so
does.
therefore we have to go do work to earn said money.
Sorry, Goose.
Sorry. But yeah.
Good things.
Seriously, I hope you guys had a fun and safe 4th of July weekend.
Yes.
It was a little weird. We watched fireworks from a distance.
We watched from the house so we could see it over the ridge top. So it was good. Nice little family.
Yeah, had a little family party, and it was good times.
Yeah. Hope you all had a good, safe 4th of July.
Yeah. I think that's all I got for today.
There it is.
I don't think I have anything more to talk about. Watch at least one of those 2 movies.
Yeah, I'll try.
And in fact, I have them both in my car. Sweet. So if you want to return them to Redbox,
that puts me in a time limit.
Well, not really.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's an extra day. I'm not worried about it.
Just give me a hard time.
I'm just saying, like, if you want to just take them,
okay,
I will. Happy birthday!
Wow.
you get my
Some
Redbox. You get my Redbox rentals. No, but seriously, if you want to watch them, and then we can go more in depth.
We might have to do
next
that
week.
All right.
Because they're killer. They're really good. So, all right, that's it.
I like it. Cool.
Until next time, he's Tucker.
He's the beard.
And we're out.